because we're going to clear the air here. You're the source of this story from back in the day, and you're going to tell us whether it's fact or fiction. A little game that we'll just make up on the spot here. So I got Tyler Sullivan, who writes for the NFL here at CBSSports.com, covers the Patriots, wrote a story last week where he transcribed our guy Troy Aikman talking to Adam Schefter on Adam Schefter's podcast. Oh. And you know what Troy Aikman said?
No.
Troy Aikman said, here's the headline. Cowboys legend Troy Aikman reveals he nearly came out of retirement to join this AFC team in 2003. Now, if we're talking to Rick Spielman about 2003, Rick was in the front office with the Miami Dolphins. The head coach was Dave Wannstedt. The offensive coordinator was Norv Turner. Troy and Norv had a relationship because Norv was also in Dallas when Troy was there. And here's the quote that Troy gave Adam Schefter on the podcast. So I was going to do it, Aikman said about coming out of retirement. I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. Rick Spielman was the senior vice president of football operations, and he ultimately was the one, I believe, that decided not to sign me. So, Rick, you're on the clock.
Oh, boy. I'd have to go back and look through my Rolodex. I can't remember that.
You don't remember that off the top of your head? That's not one of those things you're like, oh, boy.
I was talking about Troy Aikman, so I don't know if I was ultimately the one that said, no, let's not sign Troy.
Troy threw you right under the bus.
Just get in line. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I've got a lot of buses running over me. So,
but here's the good news. I mean, passing on Troy Aikman admitted he also said it was probably for the best that he didn't sign. He ended up getting the in the booth gigs, and he's still doing that to this day. And he's making a lot of money doing it. So he seemed to be okay with it. But also worth noting, and Tyler wrote about this in the story, Miami started. Remember the starting quarterback that year, 2003?
Was it Jay Fiedler?
Jay Fiedler. The team went 10-6 to finish second in the AFC East.
College Dartmouth.
And somehow at 10-6, you missed the playoffs that year, but you actually had a pretty good year. So I wanted to get you on the record for that, because I was like, there's no way that Rick didn't sign Troy Aikman.
Well, there's a lot of things too. I was Dave Wannstedt and Norv Turner were there. They had the relationship with Troy Aikman back in the days of Dallas. And I know there was some discussions, but I can't remember the result on why he wasn't signed or not signed, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It was also 3 years after he last played. It's not like he was coming off of some miraculous season.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I believe you, because Rick is, if nothing else, incredibly honest with the wins and the losses. So good. I tell you what, you look shocked. You didn't know which way that story was going to go when I started. So it could have gone worse, I suppose, huh?